Following Sysco's AI Challenge, artists showcase at Outernet London on the 5th of September. Chris Michaels hosted an expert panel discussion on the implications of this experiment for the future of the immersive experience industry. Chris Michaels.
Thank you so much for being with us today, all of you. It's really great to have you with us. Just to give you a bit of background to this project, when Sysco and I started talking about this only back in May this year, we could see that a few different things were happening simultaneously that in a way needed to be brought together. One is, we all know this growth of experiences and immersive experiences is happening everywhere around the world. Two is incredible new venues like the Outernet that honestly could not have existed, even probably 3 years ago, let alone 10 years ago, are springing up. The Outernet is unquestionably unique, but there are something like 50 different venues already in Europe and America that are bringing together this type of screen-based, projection-based storytelling into permanent new spaces, doing a whole range of new things. And of course, this explosion that we've only had really since November last year of this next generation of AI technology, whether it's through ChatGPT and the things it can do through verbalization, through visualization on Mid-Journey, through filmmaking, sound, all of this is kind of happening at the same time. And all of these things point towards a different kind of future for storytelling that we wanted to question. And so what I just wanted to do was just bring together a group of brilliant creative people to ask those questions all at once. If we could put this in the Outernet, and thank you so much to Alex and the team for letting us be here, bring you to this great physical space and take the virtual world into it through both, again, these guys' creativity and this new range of tools, what could we do? What could happen in this just a week to unlock this stuff? And I think my basic take from all of this is none of the things you've seen today would have been possible even a year ago as a form of production in that time. Of course, with money, production facility, this is all of the team, plus the background guys at Sysco helping them put it together. In just 1 week, they went from nothing to something. And that's a new kind of moment in creative practice that we have to kind of keep thinking about what it means to us. None of these technologies are super mature. I don't think any of you enjoyed using any of them as much as you do, you know, Final Cut or Premiere or things which have been around for a lot longer and a lot easier to kind of get your heads around. But I think this portends a new future that we have to keep looking at and see what it means for both the speed, quality, and capability of creative production. I think there's just numerous themes coming through this. I said the kind of creative friend and enemy, that kind of gap between 0 and 1, and the fact that it's not fully ready yet. And that's the exciting cusp that we're on. And it's testament to the braveness of Sysco of doing this, of venturing into new space when it's not quite ready to happen, but recognizing that that's what good creative R&D is. And thank you to Outernet for letting us kind of do that R&D out in public, because it's only by kind of asking these questions collectively that I think we as a sector, and we don't even quite know what this sector is yet, the experiences sector. It's got a name, we've got lots of things to do to kind of fully understand what this is, but to do this kind of work out loud is extremely important with artists, academics, business, technologists together, kind of thinking together. All of this only happens because the Outernet of Global have let us be here today. So I'd love for Alex to introduce this amazing place. What's it for?
What isn't it for? Hi everyone, I'm Al. I'm the head of creative here at Outernet London. And one of our biggest challenges, trying to explain to people what the hell Outernet is. We've been open since November last year, and we're really trying to position ourselves as a new home for entertainment and music arts and culture. And most importantly, how technology and creative technology is used to support all of those experience building. In all of our spaces, so we're in one today, which is called Now Trending. We have the Now building across from us, which is a 26K canvas. And then we have the Now Arcade, which is connecting us onto Denmark Street. So all of those screen spaces are fully tech-enabled in terms of having interactivity cameras built into the screens. All of our screens are run by real-time engines. We have full spatialized audio of 90 different channels. And all of that being combined together is really about creating a new canvas for storytelling on a scale like nowhere else in the world. We definitely wanted to create something of an agnostic canvas, so when we invite artists to come and exhibit on the screens, or we commission or curate that work, we never want there to be a barrier for them to be able to get that work to the screen. So whether they're working in traditional creation tools like After Effects, or whether they're using AI, we want to be able to help to bring those stories to life. That's really important for us, and it's been amazing to see the work that the artists here today have been able to achieve in just 1 week, working on the scale that we do. That now build is like 26K. And there's a lot of challenges when it comes to creating content at that scale. You know, a lot of individual artists struggle to be able to create for that canvas. And that's where we've seen AI come in being a really helpful tool in being able to achieve that. We were early adopters of using things like Topaz to upscale and up-res more traditional pieces of content. We obviously love things that are fully immersive, and pieces that are running right now with partners like Pixel Artworks are able to obviously create full-scale canvases of work, but we also want to be able to take pre-existing pieces or readapt pieces that the artists have already made and bring them to audiences. And really democratizing that as well. As you'll notice today, our spaces are free, so we don't charge for audiences to come in, which is really important for us because we want to bring arts and culture and music and fashion and lifestyle to the heart of central London and make sure that it's accessible to everybody that's coming to visit. And we're seeing about 1.5 million visitors to the district a month, so it's putting us on track to be one of the most visited sites in all of the UK. Aside that being a lovely story for us, I think what it really shows is how great the desire is from audiences to interact with immersive content. A few years ago, there was no such thing really as immersive experiences like this. We couldn't even find that on social media. You couldn't tag that as something to go and find. And now some of the top trending pieces on TikTok are all about the top 10 experiences to come and see in London. So I definitely think the experience economy is growing, and I'm really excited for us to be a part of that.
Thank you again for letting us be here today. What I'd like to do next really is turn to the artists who've been working in this amazing physical space, but also critically in a virtual space alongside it that Sysco, the brilliant creative technology company behind today's project, have created and enabled for all of you. And there's 9 artists here. The question's simple really. As you looked at this, what did you use from this kind of emerging world of AI tools? And what did you learn about it, both for your own artistic practice and where it's at as technology? How good was it? What were the issues? Flo, can I turn to you first?
Hi, my name's Flo. I'm also a Goldsmiths alumni. My background is in performance art and theater, and AI-assisted filmmaking is a new field that I have been challenging myself in recently, and I'm having such an exciting journey with it. In my piece, False Witness, I wanted to explore not just how to look at AI-created art in its own right, but also how does it change the way the people outside of the screens look at things, knowing that AI is a factor existing in the visual environment that we live in. And I definitely think that the process of creating AI has made me realize it's more of a friend, enemy, collaborator sort of figure. I didn't set out to make a mini horror movie. This uncanny feature, the visual style, came to me in the middle of the production, and I went along with it. I feed into it. I accepted and challenged what AI brought me, and that landed me onto this result. I really like the way that I'll be able to show you both the appreciation of this uncanny visual style of AI, but also how it has always kept me on my toes, challenging myself and thinking where's the boundary of the creative ethics when you work with AI. I try to get that sort of mixed feeling across to all of you guys watching it.
Thank you very much. Gracia, yours is such a kind of intense piece that obviously comes from lots of different places. How did you find the experience?
Hi, I'm Maria Gracia, or Gracia. I am also a Goldsmiths student. I just finished yesterday my MFA Computational Arts. Yeah, this has been a great opportunity. I like to call myself a storyteller through space because my background is in architecture, but I'm also a photographer, so I like applying technology through the space to tell new narratives that I'm interested in. My piece was the one about the Amazon. I was trying to create an in-between what's real and what's not real. Some parts were created by AI, some were real footage I made when I was in the Amazon in Peru. I use a lot of 3D scans of myself and of the Amazon, also showing how technology sees this real world. Also, I wanted to portray this in-between world. As Flo said, I also find AI as a friend enemy. I think we have to be very careful in how much agency AI can get in our work and try to get the artist essence as well in the project. And it's really easy to just flow into the AI because then you see like this amazing images you create in Midjourney, like the flowers I create, and you get like mesmerized, like because these are beautiful. You just start running over AI, but I think it's always this balance of the in-between both, where the human essence it's still there, and also not forgetting the production of these projects that go into the Amazon and not just sticking to the machine is also something important. So the balance between both is that I'm interested in.
Great. Camila, both Flo and Gracia talked about this kind of uncanny valley in a way of what's real and what's unreal. Yours took us to this kind of fragmented universe. How did you find the experience and both its kind of limits and opportunities?
Hello, everybody. I'm Camila. I'm a visual artist, multimedia artist from Chile. I did my master's in computational arts in Goldsmiths as well. And my practice goes from audiovisual, immersive pieces, video, sound art, light art, interactive art, objects, very diverse. Well, this challenge was very challenging, actually. Because it's creating a piece of 3 minutes. It's very complex in terms of exploring AI possibilities, the visuals, the sound, the storytelling, the technical aspects. But my background research has been about time and our contemporary experience of time. Nowadays, we are dealing with a fast tempo that is making everything so fast that we are kind of losing a lot of the journey and the processes, the being here and now and connecting with our environment. AI was supposed to bring us these automated, fast-based processes in which everything can be done in a click. That's the way that is being promoted. Working with AI, it means that processes can be done just by the machine, and we are almost not there, right? But what I experienced was actually the opposite. When we are working with these technologies, the result is also part of the process. And in this piece in particular, I was exploring the specific landscape of a sunset, which is like a very ephemeral moment in time, and the feeling of reflecting about time and the use of AI and bringing the landscape as a moment in which time kind of dilutes.
I mean, I think that's one of the amazing effects in immersive spaces, and of course, Outernet's seen some of this already with its brilliant Breathe project of kind of using things that seem in their underlying technology about speeding everything up, actually to slow everything down. And it's a very kind of worthwhile thing to do to just kind of create that slowness. I'd like to come to Dustin actually on that point, whose work is this beautiful journey on in a very hot day into this rain-filled virtual garden. Tell us about the work you created and what you found from doing it.
Hi everyone, I'm Zhongkai Wang, and I'm an independent 3D artist, and also I'm a student at UCL, and also about to join the KPMG next month. The in-case Mirage is my work, and in my project, I use Midjourney AI to represent this immersive and realistic scene. And at the pre-production phase, I use Midjourney to generate the reference pictures. I request a detailed, realistic CGI feel of rain garden kept in a glass box in a dark concrete room. And it can quickly visualize my concepts and giving me a rough reference for the further creative development. And in the production phase, I mainly use the procedural content generation tools in Unreal Engine 5, and it assists me to generate the small footage on the surface of my 3D assets, such as the tree trunks and the walls, greatly enhancing the realism of the scene. And I think it's a really convenient and efficient because I can adjust, customize all the details. I mean, for creation, I think AI not only can streamline the creative process, but can also democratize it. It will lower the technical barriers and make it more accessible and more efficient. I mean, for creators like myself, having the AI tools can really help us to be free of the limitation of technical skills, and we can focus on the pure creative expressions.
Great, thank you. Now on to Songqi next, who took a radically different approach to everyone else here, because his experience started with sound and then led to the visual. So Songqi, tell us a little bit about what you did.
I'm Songqi and from UCL. I'm studying digital media production as well, and hidden information is my work. And I use AI to do the music encryption, and it has been around for a long time, and many musicians have been using this in their work. And my work is about information overload. We all live in a world with social media, internet, and too much information. I decided to explore a new way to disseminate the information, and I found transforming the information into music might be a good way, and that's why I created this work. Many musicians use music encryption in their music work, and like Johann Sebastian Bach, he used 4 music notes to represent his name in his work, and we can all find these 4 notes in his work. And many other musicians also do this in similar ways to encrypt their message in their work, and they have their own enciphering system. But now we got AI technology today, and it's getting stronger, and I can use AI to encrypt the message for my own work. So I use Sofa Cipher and Music Gen, which is 2 music AI generation tool, and you can just input the information to the Sofa Cipher, and then it comes out a melody for the information you just input. And my work includes 4 information, and I created it when I made this work. But the melody created by the Sofa Cipher, by the machine, by the AI, I always feel a little bit bored and emotionless, maybe because it was made by machine. So I use another tool called Music Gen to polish the melody, like adding chords to it and to make it sound better. For what you guys see on the screens, I use Blender to visualize this music based on its frequency and amplitude. Well, I like to say AI technology can do more complicated things in the future, I think, and it can be used with other forms of art to create a more immersive experience for audience. What I did in my work is to use it to create a new musical language. And it's very promising and capable to bring our ideas to life, more possibilities. I believe the technologies are no longer barriers to our creativity.
Thank you. Ziyi and Keyu, your work took us from the beginning to the end of time, when our robot overlords finally rise up and crush us all. How did you find it? I mean, this was an incredibly kind of ambitious piece of work. How did you find working with this? What were the good bits and what were the hard bits? Keyu.
Hello, everyone. So I'm a student in UCL, majoring in digital media production. And I'm very happy to work with my partner, Ziyi, for the project Evolution Express that visualizing the past, present, and future. So viewers can, in the position inside the Outernet space, to see the evolution that including Big Bang, cell division, and celestial movement, and other transformation of all kinds of things.
And I just want to say that I have learned a lot when working with AI, and of course Keyu, because I cannot overstate its importance in automating production, inspiring creativity, and all the other amazing things that AI can assist us in doing. But still, I noticed that human creativity is very essential in creating all these amazing pieces.
So actually, I start for the theme high speed. So we are going to make a project that is talking about the viewers in the train that to view the different transformation for our world from the past to the future, maybe from the biodiversity like the cell division to the transformation for other things like alien in the future. So for the process, I using the Stable Diffusion Deforum, the video tool to generate the AI stuff, and it's very hard for me to generate by my computer because it's always crash. So it's like I generate from 0 to 30 seconds and then generate from the first scenery to the another 30 seconds. That is a process.
Yeah, that's very GPU consuming process. And actually, we were inspired by the trip from London to the Sysco production studio because we took the train and we're saying, oh, wow, yeah, we can actually use that to create something. Besides what Keyu has just stated, we have also used other creative technologies such as processing as creative coding to display random patterns and changing elements to convey the feeling of speed, change, and the overall transformation and evolution. And I have found it very interesting to work with AI because it's actually a very complicated process with multiple collaborators working together. The issue of AI authorship is still a very heated topic to discuss. And for me, I can't overstate how AI is working tremendously with democratizing production and inspiring as an initial thought, when you use ChatGPT to help you get inspired. Because it's always frightening, like when you have to set your words from zero and to the very first beginning, it's always so frightening for a creator. But generative AI can just generate at least something for you, and you can fine-tune upon that to create amazing pieces. So I am very excited about the future of all the AI technologies, and I think the possibility of creativity is unlimited for us to explore.
I think it's a very interesting metaphor, really, for all of this process about what AI might be changing creatively, which is it's filling a gap between 0 and 1. That blank page, that blank screen, which is the hardest bit for artists, writers, creatives of all kind. There are many writers who never write a book. I'm talking about myself, obviously, because just getting from that empty page to that first sentence is the most terrifying bit. But AI is the way to start testing the gap between 0 and 1 and doing something that might lead towards creativity. Right, last but not least, Dora and Amit, you come very much from a kind of storytelling background, and you can feel that in your work. How did this work for you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Amit Segall, and I'm a Goldsmiths alumni, but also a half of the duo DNA studio.
Hi, I'm Frenkel. We are a studio that does mostly performance art, and we're also new media artists. Our work was beyond the glass. We wanted to talk about women in the workplace, and we wanted to touch on themes such as glass ceiling, glass escalator. These are sort of the theories that we wanted to explore in a dystopian future. And so, as this is the first time that we've used AI in our creative practice, we've decided to treat it as our third partner in the indie studio. From the moment that we started to write the narrative, we used ChatGPT to help us. And one of the first things that happened is that ChatGPT decided to name our character. This was a surprise because we thought of it by the time as just a character, and then ChatGPT said, "This is Maya." And Maya is a courageous young woman. And so we sort of fell in love in this process with ChatGPT and how to sort of explore our narrative.
As Dor said, coming from storytelling background, from live performance, we really wanted to focus on this. And ChatGPT, obviously, as a language model, was a great tool for us to drive the conversation. Later on, in order to generate the content, we use a lot of stable diffusion, but we found that ChatGPT was actually a really great tool to translate our thoughts into the best prompts that we could feed other AI tools. So basically, we're using one AI tool in order to bridge ourselves into the next AI tool, which was a really interesting process for us. Using AI was a huge step for us. Again, we had to act as this is, as Dor mentioned, another collaborator within our work, and as opposed to a live person where whenever you collaborate with someone, you really rely on their past experience. But when it comes to AI, a lot of the times it would produce amazing work, but it doesn't necessarily imply that based on previous experience, it would keep up the good work, so to speak, because we were changing the approach using it, and it would feeding us back and forth. So a lot of curation went into the process of really understanding what came out of the AI, whether we like it or not, and how we can actually manipulate it to our liking, which is a tricky bit to do. So it's a very iterative process, which was really interesting for us, very inspiring, definitely, throughout the process. So even things that ended up not being included within the scope of the work, we found very interesting, and maybe we can use it in a different work, in a different context. For instance, for us, we want to focus around this space because we feel like it brings something different, and we really want to focus on the fact that it has a distinct ceiling. Throughout the work, obviously, there is a ceiling, but we tried so many variations of sky ceiling, glass ceilings, breaking the glass, so many variations of just having a proper ceiling that would suit the world that we were trying to build.
Just to touch on that, we really wanted to create an immersive experience, so it was really important for us to suit the work to the space and explore the different types of setups that we can find. And I think working with the AI, it sort of helped us to keep thinking and imagining how it can be.
Thank you. Well, look, from the 9 artists here, I think what you've heard is that there is no one method emerging here. There's an incredible series of emerging across a whole array of different software products, but across also an array of different creative practices. The thing that I think connects them together is this kind of sense that AI is like this kind of new creative partner lurking in the shadows beside you. You don't quite know if they're your friend or your enemy, but you know you want to work with them somehow and figure it out. So this kind of discovery process that everyone's going through as this technology emerges, super fascinating to watch. And again, it's been a real kind of pleasure to watch, as I said, the diversity of approach and the diversity of thought that it's led to. Chris, can I turn to you from a kind of academic side here as a representative of one of the 2 great universities who've participated with us in this. The Knowledge Lab at UCL kind of thinks about the future of creativity. What does this all mean? Like, where's it taking us? Where's this all going?
I don't know how to start with it's a grand question within a short amount of time, but I think scientific progress has always met an artistic response, really. If you go back to, like, for example, my specialism is in music, so if you go back to the 16th century, the harpsichord gave birth to the piano, and that gave birth to a whole repertoire of music. So that was a very mechanical invention that led to an artistic reaction. But if you go ahead to a lot of new age avant-garde composers and artists of the 60s, like Dali, Boulez, Nakis, all these kind of people. For example, Dali was inspired by atomic age. So rapid advancements in science always met with some sort of artistic curiosity. We're at the exact same point today where we've got a revolution in terms of smart technologies. For example, the artists that we've seen today and their kind of output. We need this kind of people to take up on these new technologies and trying to challenge them further and further. In summary, what's great about today is the fact that we're having new tools and methods for creative expression. If you want, they can be sort of seen as new instruments that we're capable of composing orchestras with, in that sense. I think one of the only novel kind of emerging things where we're kind of heading to is, like you had mentioned earlier actually, this sort of space between 0 and 1 or binary or non-binary. We're being able to be evaluated by smart technologies. So, for example, if I go to ChatGPT and ask it to solve a basic theorem, it probably could do that quite well and quite quickly. But if I asked it to evaluate something I just created, a poem, I'm not a very good poet, granted, but if I asked it to evaluate a poem, it would struggle a bit more. And a lot of challenges I see today are based around this. For example, I investigate music performance via AI. Can it tell me how to play a guitar lick, a guitar song? More importantly, can it know what I'm doing and evaluate me based on that? In short, no, but it's getting closer and closer. So, yeah, I think the most exciting part is just using this suite of new tools, really, and keep using them and challenge our creativity.
I do think it's worth stating that this new wave of technology is being driven by creativity first and then everyone else after. That is kind of relatively unique to this period of history where scientific advance seems to go first and then, as you say, if Boulez and Xenakis were responding to the atomic age, that was still kind of 15, 20 years later. Do you know what I mean? There was a gap. The science went first and the creativity went after.
Exactly.
But, for all of these things, ChatGPT, Midjourney, art came first somewhere. And, James, when you go to KPMG in a couple of weeks, they're thinking about what it means for business, I assume, and what it means for the future of their clients. Not from a base of, we know what this means for the future of strategic management consulting and forensic accounting, but from, look what it did with Van Gogh pictures. As someone who's kind of seeing this world of experiences emerge very fast in many diverse forms, you hosted the Amazing World Experience Summit just a couple of months ago. Where are you seeing AI come through as changing all of this or shifting things?
I reached out to a bunch of our members and said, I'm going to be on this panel obviously, as any person, I've got a bit of fear that I've got imposter syndrome. What should I say? And so, and they said really similar things to what the guys were saying here. So, as an example, a woman called Callie Keitholt at Jack Morton over in Los Angeles, they made something for Merge Mansion, which is this big game online, and they produced this big mansion into a version of what's in this computer game. And they were able to use ChatGPT and Midjourney to produce a lot of stuff that would make it look genuine. The writing on the postcards, the pictures, and the simulacra around the whole space in a really quick, short space of time. If you compare that to something like Punchdrunk, for example, because I think that the term immersive is also really interesting here. I'd love to get into that if you don't mind in a moment. But if you think about something like Punchdrunk, they create something that's there for like 18 months or longer. Burnt City's about 18 months or so. And that means they've got the budget, the time to go create this stuff. Now, Merge Mansion was a marketing event, but they were able to, as Callie put it to me, not burn through budget and not burn through people's creativity to get more done. The fact that you guys could produce that stuff in a week is kind of insane. If we were to go back and to hand a project to students, here, do something in a week, you wouldn't have come something of that kind of scale. When we see these things happen, big changes, big technological revolutions lead to big social revolutions, big artistic revolutions. The car is a good example. How that's changed society is kind of phenomenal. So it's quite difficult to say what we'll do. But like with any human tool, you can do things faster. Think about what was created there. You can do it cheaper. So that idea of democratization. I think it's really interesting that some of these tools have come to life after you guys were launching this, because that's kind of lucky, actually, isn't it? Otherwise, you'd have been, I won't say stuck with the brands, but talking to, the guys at Pixel Artworks, that, the way that it's changed, they can produce much more on a much bigger scale, because otherwise, imagine designing all of those bits by hand. It's just an insane amount of time that it's going to take. But it also changed some of the process, and I suspect some of you guys found that. In terms of rendering. Rendering used to be, as I understand it, because I'm a writer, I have sat with that blank page. Because now you've got the problem with the prompts, right? You've got to come up with a good prompt. I liked your use of using ChatGPT to come up with prompts for the other tools. That's really clever. I've come across this term AI vibing, where you sort of play with it as a weird helper. So with the rendering, it used to become towards the end. You'd work out what you were going to finally come up with at that point, and you'd do a lot of work beforehand. But now you can get much closer to what the end is going to look like, and then you build from there. So it kind of spins the process around. So the possibilities are huge. Can I just jump in about immersive? Because I know we're talking about immersive experiences, and maybe for you guys, this is just the definition of an immersive experience. But immersive is something that happens inside of a person. Immersive isn't the art. If any of you have been to any of those Van Goghs or Klimts or whatever, some of those may leave you a little bit cold and wanting to get your money back. It's really important, I think, to remember it doesn't matter what you produce out there. It has to go from the thing that you make, and whether that's a picture in the National Portrait Gallery, right? If it speaks to the person, it does something to them, that's when you're creating an immersive experience. So you have to be careful around the term immersive experiences, because is that the intent? Well, who doesn't make a piece of art where you want someone to be immersed, right? Or is it the impact? And there's a sort of gap between the two.
I 100% agree. We use the term too much, and I think this is a new type of canvas, right? And that comparison back to the Renaissance is important and strong because, frankly, it was because the old type of canvas was invented in the 15th century that you got this great 5 centuries of work. This may be the new canvas of the 21st century. What I would like to do now is to turn it to Alex from Sysco to think about what this means for the future of the company. I mean, this whole project exists because Sysco, who've been working through this space, museums, exhibitions, and the uses of kind of audiovisual technology for a long time, were brave enough to kind of say, well, look, what does this mean for the future? Now you've done it, and through the process of doing this, Alex, what are you starting to think? What does it start to mean?
Hi, I'm Alex Wilcox. I'm a visualization engineer at Sysco Productions. So what that means is that I've been working mostly with their simulator projects, visualizing 3D spaces in Unreal Engine and using those tools specifically to look at how AV can be brought into those spaces. So I think one of the discussions that we had early on was, can we sit there with an artist or with somebody who owns a space and sit there with our simulator and show them content that we can build on the fly? And we can say, well, what would you like on the screen? Would it be something like this? And then turn to an AI generation tool and render that out immediately so that they can see it in the space in an instant. And we thought that that would be extremely exciting to not only show them their space in a 3D visualized world, but to then show them what could the content look like at the end of the day once you've worked with an artist or a media company. When I started using Stable Diffusion and realized that to generate 40 seconds of video would take 8 hours, I started to realize that that might not be the future that we're at currently. But it's still that possibility of you can generate a single image in such a short amount of time. And we're on the cusp of this technology developing tenfold. So that there is a possibility that in a short sitting down with a client, you can develop something that gives an impression of what they might want to see. One of the things of Weekend is an incredibly difficult amount of time to create some incredible pieces of artwork, as everybody here has done, and that has been empowered by AI. But one of the key difficulties that still sits in that process is the amount of computing power, as you ran into, that is required to produce those artworks with those tools. I don't think that will go away. And we'll continue to have that question of, do you have a powerful enough machine to run that software? We worked with Topaz as well on these artworks, and that took the whole weekend. To run everything through, just to upscaler, was a huge amount of time and a huge amount of computing effort, and we used the best machine we had in the company to do so. So there's a huge number of hurdles between us seamlessly using it in the future, but it'll only take those developments happening for us to be able to respond to it on the fly and use it as seamlessly as we would like. What we've learned is there's still a little bit of a way to go.
Good. I think we'll take that as a prime moment to wrap up. Well, look, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for joining us at the Cisco Creative AI Challenge. Thank you.